So thank you for indulging me and watching the video. I hope you found it worthwhile. So last November, for 11 days in St. Charles, Illinois, 116 delegates from 48 states convened. They worked literally 16, 18 hours a day, broke up into committees, and with the foundation of what the We the People Foundation has done for their petitions for redress agreements, much like a laundry list of what the ACLU has fought, they went about documenting that in fact these petitions were valid, that they were accurate, that they were factual, and what they came up with is a work product called the Articles of Freedom. They wanted to they actually were going to call them the Articles of Association, but a lot of people got worried about it being considered forming a corporation and so forth, so it ended up being the Articles of Freedom. There's business cards on your desk there, and the reason I share this with you is that it is a work product. It is time to get beyond elections and beyond petitions. The ACLU themselves have realized the petitions don't work. I mean, they have their own case right here. The NSA is violating our rights and our right to privacy, and the courts have said, you have no standing. We don't even want to hear the merits of the case anymore. We're done with you. So what is the next step for free people? The Articles of Freedom are one next step. I call it death by 1,000 cuts, frankly. We all have to collaborate. So there's not one silver bullet to do all this. This work product are remedial instructions to the federal legislators and the state legislators and civic actions that people can take to enforce our right. Because as we all know, any right that you can't enforce is no right at all. And so subsequently, I encourage you to take a look at the Articles of Freedom. I've delivered them in hand to many of our state legislators at some of the legislative forums. I've encouraged them to read them. And what I've shared with them when I go up to them and talk to them is I don't see them as an adversary. They need help. This is the hard work needs to begin, folks. And I think there's a lot of solutions in these documents, the Articles of Freedom. Does anybody have any questions? And I'll try and wrap up real quick here because I know you guys are ready to get to your business meeting. So when petitioners like the ACLU or the We the People Foundation have incontestable facts and arguments irrefutably exposing the unconstitutionality of the government's actions, the prevailing judicial strategy is to declare the petitioner or plaintiff has no standing and avoiding even arguing the merits of the petition. Your injury is no greater than anyone else's, is what they're saying. Go take it up with Congress. Or as the court ruled in the ACLU case, you can't prove your phone was tapped, so you can't even argue this. This is abuse of the American people at the highest level. Effectively, all three branches of government have failed to serve the American people. So some may even go so far as to say all three branches are in collusion with each other because they're all gifting themselves from the Treasury, handing out loot in order to maintain a welfare and warfare state that suits both major parties and their special interest handlers' thirst for power. And our modern-day republic is on its way down under the weight of its own unsustainable violations amidst a culture and citizenry that sadly, despite all the modern technologies at our disposal, has been dumbed down to continue to believe our rights are derived from a ruling class government. So what are the next steps for free people? I would propose that the ACLU take a look at the Articles of Freedom. To that point, I have a handout. Larry, can you help me with that? And then I'll leave it at that.
This is article number 3 of the Articles of Freedom. There's 14 of them at the website. This covers petitions for redress in the First Amendment, has a background and statement of facts, has remedial instructions to Congress, remedial instructions to Congress number 2, instructions to the Supreme Court, instructions to the President, instructions to the several state legislators, and recommended actions, civic actions by the people. So I encourage you all to take a look at it. I am certain, as this gentleman here who spoke before me, and I found it very refreshing to hear him explain how the board of the ACLU only maybe agrees with half of the concepts that they discussed, you know. I'm certain there's some things that the Articles of Freedom that
some of you will take issue with and that we don't agree 100% on. But I would hope that we agree on enough that we can collaborate as citizens in our county and in our state, because I think that's where it needs to start. I'm excited about this work product because it has instructions toward legislators. And to that end, April 19th, Monday, nationwide, we're attempting to have a delivery of the Articles of Freedom to our legislators. putting them on notice. Here's what we expect you to do. This is beyond. We're not complaining anymore. We're not, holding signs up and complaining and so forth. This is instructional. This is how it can be fixed. And my goal at that meeting, I hope to have the leadership of the House and the Senate, the Governor's Office, Secretary of State, the leadership of the various committees at that meeting, in a serious meeting, to look at these 14 areas of violation and ask them for a litmus test, not a litmus test, that's not the right term, a mark in time. Where are we on achieving these objectives here? How far along are we on getting to this? And so that the people of Iowa can look at that and say, okay, here's where we are. What do we have to do to get there? So I appreciate everyone's time. This is the third article, Article of Freedom.